nice. We're not going to cook these long, maybe just 2 or 3 minutes. Take them off the heat, and we're going to add in some onions and saute them up before adding the steak back to our pan. All right, we're going to let that do this thing right here. We got some corn on the cob right here. Y'all can see that. Look at the corn. We got the corn on the cob. Gonna let that cook. And in this pan, I'm gonna add in some Brussels sprouts. We're gonna cook these up. I got some sweet potatoes roasted in the oven. I cut them in half, so I'll show y'all those in a few minutes. Okay, y'all. We got our Brussels sprouts here in our pan. We're gonna cook these slow and slow until they crisp up. Over here, we've only been cooking for a couple of minutes. This is our steak. I'm just gonna remove this and put it in this little bowl right here. Set it to the side, y'all. Let's get these extra little pieces out. And we're gonna go ahead and add in our onions and saute those right in this same pan. Okay, as y'all can see, we got our onions caramelizing very nicely here. So we're just gonna keep an eye on these. And once we get this reduced down, we're gonna make a sauce for our steak. And then when we finish cooking up our Brussels sprouts, we are going to make a balsamic glaze to go on top. So let's take a look. Okay, we still want these to be a little bit more brown. And now normally I would have these on a little bit higher heat, but because our sweet potatoes are gonna take a while to cook, I'm just cooking these nice and low and slow. Okay, and our corn, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the iron off on these because they've been cooking for a while, so that's getting ready to be done. So I'm just gonna take a look at our sweet potatoes and see what we got. Okay, y'all, see our sweet potatoes right here? They're still need to be cooked a little bit longer, so we're gonna put these back into the oven. Okay, y'all, so we got our sweet potatoes in the oven. We've caramelized the onions, so we're just going to add them into this pan or this bowl with our steak before we make our sauce. We're going to make a little sauce to go with this. We're going to use some Dijon mustard with some soy sauce, some Worcestershire sauce, and some fresh garlic. Okay, so let me go ahead and get that started for you guys. Okay, we got our garlic sauteing right here in the pan. I'm just gonna add in a little bit of beef bouillon. Let me see. Yeah. Where's my beef bouillon over here? Okay, so we're gonna add in some beef bouillon like this. Y'all, I know I keep getting in front of this camera. I'm trying not to get in front of the camera. Anyway, I'm going to do this like this. So we got our garlic in here. I got 2 cloves of garlic and probably like a tablespoon of some beef bouillon. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add in some hot water just from the sink here. All right, so I would say this is about 3/4 of a cup, and I'm going to let this come to a boil. So I'm going to turn my heat up on high right here, and I'm just going to add in a tiny bit of all-purpose seasoning here. This is already going to be highly seasoned. Because of the soy sauce, you got the Worcestershire sauce, and remember, we also have Dijon mustard. So, not too much seasoning. And as you can see, we got our Brussels sprouts that are nice and crisp. And I'm just going to let them continue to crisp up on the other side before I add some salt and throw in a little bit of garlic in here before we add our balsamic glaze. But the balsamic glaze is going to go on the top, okay? Yeah, I just want y'all to see how everything is going. So this is what happens when you cook on total impulse. You don't know what you got in your kitchen. I thought I had balsamic vinegar. Well, guess what? I don't. So these Brussels sprouts, this is just what it's going to be. I just added a little bit of salt. Like I said, you can go ahead and add in some fresh garlic if that's what you choose to do. You can see this sauce is coming to a boil here, so I'm going to turn it down and reduce it. And all I'm going to do is add in just a tiny bit of cornstarch to let it thicken up just a little bit, okay? And then we're going to add our steak and our onions back into this sauce. Maybe, maybe not, because I just thought about something. This is really for my daughter, and she doesn't really do a lot of sauces, so I might just go ahead and put this in a bowl and leave it to the side. That way, if she chooses to dip her steak in the sauce, she can do that. And one thing I improvised on, because I didn't have the Dijon mustard, I had horseradish. So guess what I did, y'all? I used horseradish instead. I just didn't use much. So you're going to have to taste test it if you do choose to use horseradish, if that's what you like. But I'm going to give it a taste test first so I can make sure that the sauce is okay. But I went ahead and added in the soy sauce and the W sauce, let me say it like that. With the bouillon, beef bouillon, and garlic. Okay, so that's how I came up with this sauce for this particular steak dish right here. Okay, so that's our sauce has thickened up here. I did go ahead and add in a little bit more of that that horseradish, and I did a taste test, and it does taste really good. So I'm just gonna put it in a little bowl on the side. And that way it can just be used as like a dipping sauce. And that's going to be really good. So we got our Brussels sprouts right here. Guys, no balsamic glaze. We do have our corn, that we boiled here. All I did was add a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar, and some butter. And of course we have that steak with the caramelized onions right here. This is thin sliced steak, guys. So now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at our sweet potatoes and take those out of the oven. Y'all ready to see this beautiful, beautiful plate right here? Okay, so we got our baked sweet potato half right here. Now, this has a little sprinkle of nutmeg, a tiny, tiny bit of brown sugar. You could also use some cinnamon and honey. You can be really creative. If you've never had it with sour cream, just plain sour cream and a little bit of butter, try it. You won't be disappointed. Now, these are the corn on the cob. We got our sauteed steak and onions right here with our sauce. This is just more like a horseradish with soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce and some beef bouillon and a little bit of cornstarch. And of course, I did saute these steak in some cornstarch as well. And then on this side, we have our beautiful, beautiful Brussels sprouts. So this is our plate. And I know it looks like a lot, but this is very nutrient dense food here. So I think we're good. But anyway, go try it for yourself. All right. Until next time.